How you doing? Sorry about the technical issues. We just started encountering them literally 5 minutes ago, but that's okay. Welcome to the Blue Abroad show. A little bit different tonight. It was interesting because we had literally no news whatsoever, not a quote from a club official. I think everyone's still enjoying the spoils of the Eddie Betts news yesterday, which was still pretty exciting. But that's okay, because the idea is that tomorrow there will be news. So we're hoping, with our fingers crossed, obviously Jack Martin, obviously Tom Papley as well comes through, and then we can be on our merry way. Mark Pitnet is another one as well that we're hoping to get done tomorrow, because it looks like Andrew Phillips has actually requested a trade out of Carlton and to the Bombers. So what we're going to do tonight, we've spoken about it. We're going to do a live debate. We've been talking about this for a while, but the topic is going to be about Levi Casboult. So we put a poll up last week during the show. We spoke about, there were two topics that were really popular. The one that got the vote, the resounding vote out of 530 odd votes, was the Levi Casboult topic. So what we're going to do tonight is Dan is going to argue for Levi Casboult staying. Riley is going to make the case to trade Levi Casboult while we can. And it's important that we do this for a few reasons. I think discussion and disagreeing is part of life. And I think what we want to try and achieve here is having respectful discussion. We don't have to all necessarily agree on things, but I think we Carlton supporters can get quite emotional. And whenever we disagree with something, we tend to get personal with our attacks and whatnot. So anyway, we're going to have this done properly. There's going to be no emotion attached to this. It's just going to be facts. There's no stupidity in this. So you'll get a chance to vote at the end of this. Dan will go for 5 minutes. Riley will go for 5 minutes. And then each of them will get 3 minutes to rebut the other's arguments. And then we'll go from there. So let's introduce the lads as I bring them up. Dan, you're coming up shortly. How are you, mate?
I'm very well. How is everyone?
Mate, I think we're going well. Riley, I've just got you. I'm going to join you as well. Stand by. All good. Hello, mate.
Good evening, legends.
I'm glad we can make arrangements at the last second with the audio issues. Sorry about that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good night. Welcome to my war room.
Like it, mate. I like it. So, like I was saying, I'm not sure if you just heard me. I'm looking forward to this. You're each going to get 5 minutes. I will be here in the background. I'll have a timer here for each of you. When you get to your 60 seconds remaining, I'll let you know that there's 60 seconds. And then once you hit that 5 minute on the dot, I'll just sort of prompt you, and then we'll go from there. So very excited about that. Riley, I'm going to put you down for a sec. Dan, you'll kick off proceedings in a moment, and we'll speak to you soon, Riley. Dan, how you feeling, mate?
Oh, not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad.
All right, I like it. You got everything ready?
Born ready, my friend.
All right, mate. So I'll let you go. You start now. So everyone watching at home, just take in what Dan's saying, take in what Riley's saying, give it a chance, and then I'm really excited to do this. So without further ado, Dan, your time starts now.
Okay, so Levi Casboult, probably a player that has attracted criticism the most out of anyone at Carlton throughout his time. Now, I believe that it's my firm belief we have to keep him. Casboult's 2019, in my opinion, was nothing short of extraordinary. Finished top 5 in our BNF and recorded his first ever Brownlow votes. At the start of 2019, I was one of them people who thought it would be highly unlikely he'd remain at the club. With the incomings of McGovern and the emergence of Kerno and McKay as our premier forwards, I really thought his time is done. But 2019 is a redevelopment year for Levi. Levi has had the second most recorded intercept marks in the history of AFL in the game versus St Kilda. He's got the most hit outs of any second or third ruckman in the comp and statistically, according to Champs data, is the best swingman dual position player in the competition. He's really become the 21st century Carlton David Rees-Jones. In fact, this year and last year, he actually has surpassed David Rees-Jones, and a similar career path of 41% time forward, 36 down back, and 23 in the ruck. So he really is the Swiss Army knife footballers. These type of footballers don't grow on trees. And when we look at his age, he's actually coming into peak age for ruckmen, forwards, and backmen. So in theory, he should only get better from here. And he also operates with a flexibility that it's like having 3 men in the team. When he's nominated in the team, he can play down back. He's very serviceable in the ruck. And that was proven this year when he went up against 2 of the best ruckmen and had a 52% win rate versus them. One of them being Grundy as well, which is very hard to do. Now, his biggest criticism is his kicking efficiency. But if you look at his kicking efficiency across the board in AFL, it's bang on AFL average. And I think a key reason why we keep him is when we had the Jones injury with the concussion, he formed a formidable partnership with Wiedering. And when Jones came back, he allowed Jones to do what he does best, and that's roam around and attack the ball, not man and mark on his player. If we look at Carlton historically, we have injuries down back and down forward. And McCready and Marchbank are 2 players who stand out in our backline stocks that we have to have there now. We've got rid of people, but they don't get on the park week in, week out. Now, I know people say his ruck work isn't the best, but as I've mentioned, his duels against Grundy show that he's above AFL average in competing against him. And his defensive work from round 8 to round 16 alone saw him, just based on them, the best player in the competition at intercept marks and a 74% win one-on-one, which was only matched by McGovern from West Coast. He's rated above Westhoff and McDonald this year for players who have played multiple positions, and he's only behind O'Brien at Hawthorn in the ruck stocks. In summary, I think he brings value to Carlton, which we can't go out there and buy at his age. Not only that, he brings something off the ground that not many people do, and that he's a true Carlton man. He's a true blue. He personifies what it means to be a Carlton footballer, and never say die attitude and nothing is too much. His work ethic is so much that he redeveloped a role that he hasn't played before and done it successfully. For me, he has at least 3 to 4 years of football left ahead of him, and he fills valuable positions in holes that are very hard to replace. And if we're going to be a top 8 side, you have these players who are very more than serviceable in all your positions. For me, we're a club that historically has key positional problems. And that is the reason I believe Levi Casboult is a lock to stay at Carlton Football Club.
1 minute. You can end it there if you like.
I'm good with that. Levi Casboult, true blue.
Short and sharp, mate. I like it. Well done. Next up, I'm going to bring Riley back up here. Stand by for that.
Good evening.
You ready to go?
Always ready.
Okay, mate. I'm going to count you off. And again, at that 4-minute mark, I'll let you know that there's a minute to go. But if you do finish, you finish. No worries. You will start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
No doubt that 2019 was Levi Casboult's best year for the Carlton Football Club. He was sensational and he was very serviceable, played 20 games, kicked 15 goals, 11 behinds, whilst playing true as a swingman, as Dan mentioned, through the middle and ruck on occasion, as well as defensively. I'm just going to run you through some facts, though, that we really need to be aware of. The man is 29. I don't think that's necessarily a peak age for someone of his calibre. To me, if you look at the statistics compared to previous years, last year was an outlier. He's never played defensively before. He played very well. He's very much trade bait. If you look at his other years, we tried him defensively before in 2017 on occasion. Didn't work out well. There's not very many monsters that are his side. If you want to look at defensive arguments, when you look at the likes of key forwards, the only one that really sort of fit his size profile are Tom Lynch and maybe Jack Darling and Josh Kennedy. The day of the monster forward is over, in my opinion, in a lot of ways that are coming through the AFL. So what that means is he doesn't necessarily fit there. He'd only be our 5th or 6th best defender currently at the moment. In terms of the forward line, McGovern, McKay. You can even think of Jack Silvani, Curnow, obviously. Ben Silvani can also potentially be a swingman. He doesn't fit there either. He's got a lot of trade commodities with him. If you run purely through the players that are over 190 centimetres for Carlton at the moment, Matthew Cruiser, Patrick Cripps, McKay, McGovern, Tom DeConning, Liam Jones, Marchbank, Weeders, Pitney, who will supposedly come on board tomorrow, Charlie Curnow, of course, Ben Silvani, Jack Silvani, and Harry McCready. We've got the most big man stocks in the league compared to a lot of lists. We need to go smaller. We need to go quicker. Levi's never been quick. His contested marking, in my opinion, last year, although he was very good, and he did have that game against St Kilda where he was absolutely outstanding, no doubt about that. It has declined a bit in the last couple of years, just in my opinion. And when you've got currency, it's better to give it up a year too early than a year too late. Let's have a look at a couple of the trades that potentially right now are in flux. Jack Martin, they want a first. We're willing to give up a second. That could be an option that could certainly unlock that trade. Now, would you rather Jack Martin, 25 years old, full of potential, exactly what we need as a half-forward flanker, or would you rather keep Levi Casboult, who, with all due respect, he's probably in our top 30, but I don't necessarily believe next year we want him to be playing 20 games once again at AFL level. Then you look at potentially Tom Papley. Now, Sydney, they do have big man stocks. They could use a little bit more insurance, though, particularly with the likes of Darcy Cameron, who's just left Sydney today to go to Collingwood. They need that extra ruck depth there, probably more than we do. We're getting Pitney in. He would be very useful at the Sydney Swans, and I reckon Sydney wouldn't necessarily be against getting him if it was part of a Papley deal. Now, I'm just going to run you through some numbers as well of someone that has been really criticised over the last couple of weeks and through the season. 11 games, 22 goals, 13 possessions, 7 hit-outs a game, and he averaged about 4 tackles. That is Josh Jenkins. Now, all those statistics are significantly better than Levi Casboult's was this year. Yes, he played in the side that won 10 wins. He only played the 11 games. However, considering what has been said during the week, would you rather have a Josh Jenkins, same age profile, has consistently performed better for the last 6 years in terms of goals, games, marks, hit-outs, and general defensive pressures than Levi Casboult has? Or would you rather have Levi? Yes, he's a great Carlton man. Yes, he has had his best year in season 2019. But he's got currency. He wouldn't necessarily be an expensive option, but we could use that cap space, especially in the next couple of years, if he's looking for an extension heading towards 2022. I don't think his contract is necessary. I think he's expendable. And I certainly believe that if we were going to give up someone, I'd hate to give up Levi, and he's a very loyal Carlton man. However, he's the guy I'd be looking for, and you'd be able to get some value for him, and you'd be able to unlock some trade deadlocks at the moment, which are sitting rather precariously, and I think are making Carlton fans pretty nervous. And that's me.
Nice, mate. Very nice. Okay, Dan, I hope you've taken notes. I'm going to add you to this in a moment. So what's going to happen from here, Dan will now have 3 minutes. You don't have to use it all if you don't need to, but you've got 3 minutes to rebut any of Riley's arguments, and then Riley will do the exact same for you with 3 minutes. So stand by. You're ready to go? All right. Your 3 minutes starts. And again, I'll give you the 1 minute warning. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay. So Riley made a wonderful argument. I really enjoyed listening to it. So, I mean, one of the points that he picked is that he's behind H, Gov, Charlie, Jones, Wheater in Plowman. So, I mean, that's probably a fair assessment. However, if you look at that, Charlie has had significant knee injuries, and the operation he's having this year, there's no guarantees that he's going to stay there fit. Govern's another person who's had numerous issues throughout his career in the lower body. So, again, there's no guarantees this guy will play 22 games. H genuinely has stayed fit, touch wood. However, if you look when them three go down, who's the other key forward? It's been heavily documented that Carlton moving forward want 3 targets up top. And Levi, from round 9 to round 16, Levi Casboult was the leading intercept mark in the competition. So he was up there with Jeremy McGovern down back. So he also is serviceable down there. And we look, Plowman's had his injury problems. Wheater and Jones are definite locks for me at key backs. However, anything can happen. And we saw Jones, the way he plays the game, it's a Hail Mary, attack the ball at all costs. He's super brave. And that concussion won't be a rare sight. It's a very dangerous game, football. And if you look at McCready, Plowman has played down back and he's averaged 4 goals kicked on him when he has played in a key position player, where Levi only averages 2 goals kicked against him, which is a remarkable difference for me. That is up there with elite. And for me, yes, Levi might not be the most attractive player. However, he's very serviceable. And do I think 2020 he can redevelop and keep on going? I can. I think 2019, we actually found a spot for Levi. He's matured. He's listened. He's working extensively as well. David Rees-Jones did an interview at the start of the year of how he contacted him for help. And for me, Rees-Jones said he was super impressed and that he felt it was 6 years too late for someone to find his niche. And if you look at Levi Casboult, his skill set is strong in the air, strong as an ox, never gives up, great in the air. And for me, he is the biggest asset to Carlton Football Club, that he can go down back where we've had a lot of injuries historically, up forward where we've had a lot of injuries historically. And I think no matter what you trade me for him, you can't find another player. Would anyone at Carlton Football Club trust McCready to be ready round 4 if, heaven forbid, Jones went down, or Wheater, because he hasn't done it for 2 years? What makes you to say we're going to do it again? Josh Jenkins he used as an example. And for me, Josh Jenkins... What?
10 seconds.
Josh Jenkins has been equally as injured. Levi has no history of injuries, so that guy is there to stay for me.
Nice. Very nice. Right on time.
Right on time.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. All right, Riley, are you ready for your 3 minutes?
Always ready.
Okay, mates. I'll give you the tick and go.
Okay, so I love Dan's argument. He made some very compelling points, and there's a lot of it I certainly can agree with. I can see both sides of this argument. I don't agree that his 2019 was extraordinary. I think it was the best year that he's had, and I fully acknowledge that. He was served as a key role in the side that, struggled and had a lot of injury issues, but it wasn't extraordinary. All you had to do was bring up Josh Jenkins and the year he had and compare them. The ceiling of Levi Casboult isn't necessarily high, and he gives everything he's got. But again, I think we can do better, and he's certainly very expendable. Second most intercept marks in a game against St Kilda. He also mentioned that point about between rounds 9 and 16, he had the most intercept marks in the competition. Between that period of time, we also gave up the most inside 50s in the competition when he was playing a lot behind the ball. So it's going to be quite easy to get quite a few intercept marks when it was coming in as much as it was during that period of time. Best swingman in the comp. It's a fair argument, but is he the most consistent? I looked through the statistics earlier today, and you compare Levi Casboult's AFL rating, which doesn't just take into account your basic statistics, it also takes into account various things such as defensive spoils, tackles, and all that sort of thing that clubs look for. In wins in season 2019, when he played, he had an AFL rating of 88.3. When we lost, his rating in games was 45.2. That is he played half as well when we lost. So when we're playing well, he's playing very well. When we're playing poorly, he goes missing. In particular, there was games where we really needed him against Richmond and West Coast, which were some of his poorest games in season 2019. Very hard opponents, don't get me wrong, but should have performed better, in my opinion, especially against those sides. David Rees-Jones, it's great that he went to advice for him, and I can sort of understand the comparison, but at the same time, David Rees-Jones is one of the best true swingman. He's a cult figure at Carlton. I don't think you can really compare the two. Kicking efficiency certainly has improved from Levi Casboult. There's no doubt about that. However, it's kicking efficiency. Literally, if I kick to you 10 metres away and hit the target, that's considered efficient. True efficiency is very different. They weren't kicks that were particularly penetrating. They weren't kicks that opened up the field. It was the same sort of product. Better decision-making, not in terms of better kicking efficiency, in terms of improvement of skill. No doubt, his off-ground is very important. His culture and his loyalty to Carlton has been fantastic. But I'll just make this point as well. If we can get the best deal for him, we possibly can, whether it's at the Gold Coast, Sydney, or somewhere else, we certainly should. He's served us great, but I don't imagine him being past Carlton at this stage, past 2020. I think he's right on the bubble, and I think he is expendable, and we should cash him whilst we can.
You literally did it at the perfect time right there. Well done, mate. Well done. Okay. Dan, I'm adding you in a moment. Well done, guys. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I'm not sure about you guys in the audience, but I really enjoyed that. As I said before we started, and I want to acknowledge the two of you as well, because, putting yourself out there, and it can be a bit difficult in this day and age. Obviously, you've got people watching, and we live in a bit of a society where everyone's watching, everyone's got an opinion. So to put yourselves out there and to present in the professional way that you both did, well done. I can see merit in both cases. I'm sure the people watching at home can as well. So what I want to do now, if you're watching it, please just write one word: keep or trade. Obviously, keep would be the motion that Dan made, and trade would be the motion that Riley made. I'll have a look at it. We'll see if we can get them all right now. But if not, then I'll announce it after the show. I'll go through it and tally them all up. But yeah, what did you think of it? Dan, I'll start with you. What did you think of that experience, mate?
Tell you what, it's great debating with Riley because he's a stat man like myself. So I really enjoyed his. We also conceded the most inside 50s playing on a. It's quite easy doing what I do sometimes because you can manipulate data for your own argument. So it was great to do that because that was a fantastic argument, as we know. For anyone watching, though, just remember that we've conceded the most inside 50s in 2018 and no one finished top 10 for intercept marks accounting. So big raps, Casboult. But I would say it was fantastic. It was really good. It was nice to have an argument with someone and someone not say, how many chins have you got? What the fuck does a POM know about our game? Piss off that to England. Your wife's fat. It was really nice. And like, I love Riley. I could do this all the time. So I enjoyed it.
I like it. Riley, what about you, mate? Bit different. That's not something I've really seen. For me, the inspiration came from Intelligence Squared. I listened to the podcast and they have different topics and the format was just sort of there. How did you feel about that?
Loved every second. Admit it's a hard topic to debate because there is an attachment to Levi Casboult, and there's a big part of me like that certainly does think, especially with developments that in recent days, that he'd be someone that you'd love to keep. But I love the debate. Dan's very intelligent, very well thought out. It's very respectful. We don't go ESPN first take on each other. If you've ever watched that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But no, it was really good, and thank you to you, thank you to Dan, and trade period deadline eve. This is going to be one of the biggest days Carlton's had in quite a while tomorrow. I reckon. I'm just going to say quietly. Yeah,
I think so too, mate. I think so. I thought the deadline was at 2 p.m, but it's actually not. It's later in the evening. They're going to be live streaming it, right?
Yep, 7 p.m. I think they've only introduced it in recent years because everyone thought 2 p.m. was too blasé and no one could watch it during a work break, whereas now there's a bit more drama. Everyone can watch it primetime television. I mean, it's a really stupid concept in a sense, listening to Damien Barrett talking on radio whilst watching trade managers go into a room and stare at each other, but we love it anyway, so let's keep watching it.
Yeah. I like it. So just for everyone watching at home, just get your votes in. If you haven't yet, just trade or keep. Just write it in the comments below. I'll tally them up. Just from looking at it, there was a lot of keep at the start, and then it started ticking over to trade. But I dare say keep would be in the lead right now. But I will confirm that. Tomorrow, 7 p.m, we will be live again. We will be hopefully talking about Papley and Martin and Pitternet and whoever else. Hopefully a mystery player as well.
Big fish.
Hopefully there's a big fish in there as well. So 7 p.m. tomorrow, we will be live. Do not miss Blue Abroad tomorrow at 7 p.m. Guys, thank you so much for tonight. I really appreciate it. I thought that was a really good exercise. If there's anybody who would like to discuss a topic, who would like to debate a topic, please reach out to me. Send me a message. If you've got someone that you debate with and you maybe want to bring that debate onto the show, we can bring it in here. Again, the purpose of the exercise is to show that, hey, we can disagree. We can put the intelligence out there, put the facts out there, come to an agreement, come to a disagreement, and still get along. I think that's the beauty of what we've done here. So well done to you guys, and I'll see you guys and speak to you throughout the evening and tomorrow.
Good on you, mate.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Riley.